You've spent months, maybe years, on your thesis, the final boss of your academic career. The defense? That's the last level, you and your group facing a panel of professors paid to pick your work apart. It's nerve-wracking. You're standing there, heart pounding, trying to prove you know your stuff. But it's not just about your research. The way your group works together under pressure can make or break your grade. One person can carry the team, or one can sink it. It's a high-stakes social experiment. Today we're diving into the 8 types of people you'll find in every thesis defense group. You'll recognize yourself, your friends, or that one group mate who still haunts your dreams. By the end, you'll know exactly who's in your group, and maybe which one you are. Let's get started. Alright team, let's talk about the different personalities you're bound to encounter in group projects. First up, we have the enthusiast. This person isn't just interested in the topic. They are completely obsessed with it. They probably picked the topic themselves, and they live and breathe the research. It's their passion project, and they're not afraid to show it. Their energy is undeniably contagious, and they keep morale high when everyone else is running on fumes, fueled by caffeine and drowning in stress. They're the team's cheerleader, always ready with a pep talk or a motivational quote. They eagerly volunteer for the hardest parts, make the slides look absolutely amazing, and desperately want to blow the panel's minds with their brilliance. They envision standing ovations and academic accolades. But here's the catch. When asked a seemingly simple question, they launch into a sprawling 10-minute TED Talk, bringing up obscure facts, historical anecdotes, and completely unrelated tangents. Teammates exchange increasingly nervous glances, silently begging them with the power of their minds to please, for the love of all that is holy, wrap it up. Professors nod politely, but you just know they're thinking, okay, we get it, you absolutely adore this stuff. Now can we move on? The enthusiast's unbridled passion can certainly impress, but their inherent inability to be concise and to the point can eat up precious presentation time and ultimately muddle the core message. Sometimes they get so lost in the weeds using so much jargon and technical terminology that even their own teammates get completely lost and confused. They might even pull out extra charts, graphs, and data sets that weren't even in the original presentation plan just to share that one last, incredibly fascinating, to them at least, discovery. They're a bit of a double-edged sword. Their boundless energy and enthusiasm can really carry the group and keep everyone motivated, but you also have to be prepared to gently but firmly steer them back on track when they start to veer off course. Still, without them and their infectious passion, the group might not even get off the ground in the first place. They're the spark plug, the engine, the driving force of the team. Just be ready to gently land the plane when they start trying to explain the entire history of the universe in response to a simple question about your chosen methodology or data collection techniques. Every group needs an enthusiast, just maybe with a clearly defined time limit and a gentle reminder to stay focused on the task at hand. Next on our list, we have the pragmatist. This individual brings a unique and valuable perspective to any academic endeavor. The pragmatist is, in many ways, the polar opposite of the enthusiast. Where the enthusiast thrives on brainstorming and blue-sky thinking, they're here to get the degree, nothing more, nothing less. Their focus is laser-sharp. Efficiency is their mantra. They value streamlined processes and tangible results above all else. The defense is just a checklist to complete, each item meticulously addressed and ticked off. When the group debates slide colors, agonizing over the perfect shade of blue or green, the pragmatist steps in and says, "Does it really matter? Let's move on and focus on the content." They've memorized the grading rubric, internalizing every criterion and expectation, and focus only on what's required. No extra credit, no unnecessary embellishments. Their answers are clear, concise, and to the point, and strictly factual. No fluff, no storytelling, just the unvarnished truth. A professor asks about limitations of the study. They list 3 succinctly and without hesitation, then stop talking. Sometimes their directness feels cold or even uninspired, lacking the passion and enthusiasm that some professors might expect. But it keeps the group grounded, preventing them from veering off course. They're not here to impress with fancy rhetoric, just to deliver the required information effectively. The downside? The presentation can sometimes feel a bit robotic or even boring, lacking the spark of creativity. But every group, without exception, needs a pragmatist. To meet deadlines, navigate bureaucratic hurdles, and keep things on track, ensuring the project stays within scope and budget. While the enthusiast dreams big, envisioning groundbreaking discoveries and revolutionary theories, the pragmatist makes sure the bibliography is perfect, adhering to every citation-style guideline. They're the anchor that keeps the project from drifting into the realm of the unrealistic or the unachievable, not flashy, not attention-grabbing, but absolutely essential for success. If you want to survive the defense with your sanity intact, you absolutely need a pragmatist on your team. They're the reality check every group desperately needs, ensuring that ambition is tempered with practicality. Now meet the skeptic, the group's built-in quality control. They question everything: methodology, sample size, sources. It can feel exhausting, but their constant scrutiny prepares the group for tough panel questions. Their critical eye forces everyone to confront weaknesses and strengthen the project. During the defense, they might sound defensive or even debate a professor, a risky move that can show confidence or come off as arrogant. They focus on flaws, sometimes making the group seem less confident. But when the panel throws a curveball, the skeptic is ready. They're the reason you have solid answers for the hardest questions. Not always fun to work with, but invaluable for surviving scrutiny. Their tough love makes the research bulletproof. Every group needs a skeptic to keep them sharp. Now let's talk about the reluctant, that group member who just wants out. They're the ones who seem to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders when group work is assigned. Minimal engagement, maximum avoidance. They're masters of blending into the background, hoping their lack of participation goes unnoticed. They miss meetings, often without explanation or apology. Their absence becomes a recurring theme. They turn in work late, if at all, pushing deadlines and testing the patience of their teammates. And they agree to anything just to avoid discussion, nodding along without truly processing the information. Any decision is fine, as long as it means less talking. On defense day, they're visibly terrified, their anxiety palpable as the presentation looms. They're barely prepared, often relying on the work of others to get them through. And they hope no one asks them anything, praying to avoid the spotlight and any in-depth questioning. They read from slides in a monotone, their voice lacking any enthusiasm or inflection, rushing through their part, eager to get it over with as quickly as possible. If questioned, it's a deer-in-the-headlights moment, a blank stare and a complete inability to articulate a coherent response. Panic, stammering, a desperate attempt to formulate an answer, any answer, and vague answers, filled with jargon and lacking any real substance. Usually a teammate has to jump in and save them, rescuing them from their own inadequacy. Their lack of effort puts the group at risk, jeopardizing the overall success of the project, and forces others to pick up the slack, leading to resentment and frustration within the team. You feel bad for them, recognizing their discomfort and anxiety, but their minimal contribution is a liability, a weight that drags the entire group down. Every group dreads having a reluctant member. They are the source of much stress and anxiety. They're the weak link the panel can easily expose, a target for scrutiny and criticism. Sometimes they're just here so they don't get fined, fulfilling the bare minimum requirements to avoid penalty. But their presence is a real test for the rest of the team, forcing them to adapt and compensate for their shortcomings. Now the hero, the prepared and confident member, the MVP, the team captain, the one who's mastered the entire thesis. They walk in calm and collected, instantly putting everyone at ease. Their presentations are polished, engaging, and clear. When the Q&A starts, they shine, handling complex questions with structured, confident answers. They're also the ultimate team player, rescuing teammates when needed. Their deep knowledge lets them think on their feet and anticipate follow-ups. They handle criticism with grace, defending the work without getting defensive. The group's success often hinges on their leadership. They elevate everyone's performance. If you have a prepared and confident member, you're in good hands. They're the rock, the anchor, and the superstar. Every group prays for one. If this is you, congrats, you carried your team. The MVP is the reason the group survives the final boss. On the flip side, meet the overly anxious member. They know the material, but nerves hijack their performance. Fidgeting, sweating, and asking, "Are you nervous?" They're a bundle of stress. When presenting, their voice cracks, they rush and stumble over words. Anxiety leads to rambling or freezing up, even on questions they know. Teammates often have to step in and clarify. Their anxiety isn't about effort or intelligence, it just undermines their delivery. It's tough to watch because you know they worked hard. They remind us, knowing the material is only half the battle. Controlling nerves is the other half. Every group has one, and they need support, not judgment. Now, the quiet observer, the group's silent weapon. Reserved and thoughtful, they rarely speak unless asked. Don't mistake their silence for disengagement, they're often the most insightful. During meetings, they listen, analyze, and connect the dots. In presentations, they deliver their part calmly and accurately, without flair. But when a tough question stumps everyone, the quiet observer steps up. They deliver a brilliant, concise answer that impresses the panel and the group. They don't waste words, every sentence counts. Their calm presence balances the group's chaos. They're the secret weapon, saving the day when it matters most, not loud but deeply impactful. Every group needs a quiet observer. They prove you don't have to be loud to be brilliant. Finally, the eager to please. Their main goal? Win the panel's approval. They start with effusive thanks and nod at everything the professors say. They tailor answers to what they think the panel wants, sometimes overdoing the flattery. This can create a positive vibe, but too much comes off as insincere or insecure. When criticized, they might concede too quickly, undermining the group's argument. They're social chameleons, adjusting their approach based on the panel's reactions. Their intentions are good, but they risk looking inconsistent or lacking confidence in the research. A little charm helps, but substance matters more. The eager to please can lighten the mood, but must remember to stand by the work. Every group has one, they just need to balance charm with backbone. Validation is nice, but conviction is key. And there you have it, the 8 personalities in every thesis defense group. From the enthusiast to the reluctant, it's a wild mix of chaos and brilliance. Which one are you? Drop a comment below and share your story. Every successful group is a team, a mix of energy, focus, criticism, and leadership. It's the combination of strengths that conquers the final boss of college. Thanks for watching, and good luck to everyone defending their thesis. You got this. Now go crush that defense.